My mascara wand hovers mid-stroke when Lily's reflection appears in the bathroom mirror. Her tiny fingers twist the hem of her polka-dotted pajama top, eyes wide and unblinking. Something about the way her blue gaze, so much like mine, keeps darting toward the frosted window overlooking our long gravel driveway makes my heart skip. Mommy. Her voice is barely a whisper, softer than any 8-year-old I've known. Just a second, baby, I reply, trying to steady my hand. The Jacobs case file weighs heavily in my laptop bag downstairs, another overdue priority. Go grab your sneakers, okay? It's almost time to leave for school. But Lily doesn't move. Her fingers twist tighter, pulling the cotton fabric until it's taut. Please don't drive today. Her words are so unexpected, so oddly specific, that I stop. What do you mean? She rises on tiptoe and leans in close, her breath warm against my ear. Daddy did something. A chill runs down my spine, colder than the bathroom tile beneath my bare feet. Before I can ask more, Jason's voice floats in from the hallway. Running behind again, he says, appearing in the doorway with a travel mug and an easy smile. His crisp dress shirt and navy slacks clash oddly with Lily's rumpled pajamas. I made you coffee. He sets the mug beside my makeup bag. Thanks, I murmur, glancing at the time. 7:40. The mediation session at the Kansas City courthouse starts at 9 o'clock. Traffic on I-435 will be rough. Lily, shoes, I say gently. She backs away without a word, her eyes never leaving Jason. When did she start watching him like that? The thought fades as I hurry downstairs. My limbs already feel heavy, as if the espresso shot I added to my morning coffee is fighting a losing battle. Outside, the morning sun glints off the faint scrape on my Subaru's fender, a shiny silver reminder of last Thursday's scare. I'd nearly missed a turn on Summit Ridge Road. My hands sluggish. My vision blurry. Jason had chalked it up to stress. You're doing too much, he'd said. But his voice hadn't held the warmth it used to, not like when we brought Lily home from the hospital, or when we moved into this Craftsman fixer-upper on Elm Street. I sip the coffee he made and try to focus. Lily's footsteps trail behind me like a whisper. Lately, she's taken to watching from doorways, hovering at the edge of every room like a shadow. Last week, I found a drawing under my pillow. 2 stick figures in front of our house. One holding what looked like a spray bottle. Jason's voice cuts through my fog. They're expecting that report. I nod, though the haze is back. Thicker this time. My grip tightens around the kitchen counter. Something isn't right. I grip the edge of the butcher block counter, trying to steady my hands. Lily's whisper echoes in my ears. Her words shouldn't matter. She's just 8. It's probably a phase, like her sudden refusal to let Jason read her bedtime stories, or how she insists on sleeping with the door cracked open now. But her warning crawls beneath my skin, sharp and stubborn. Especially when I pair it with what I found last week, an unopened life insurance brochure stuffed in the back of Jason's desk drawer. I thought nothing of it at the time. People plan for the future, right? But this doesn't feel like planning. I think I'm calling in sick, I say. Jason pauses by the back door, key still in hand. You can't be serious. I am. The words surprise me. They fall out of my mouth before I can think, before I can second-guess myself. I'll work from home today, I add, forcing calm into my voice. Jason's expression doesn't shift, but his voice loses its softness. The firm needs that deposition, Claire. It can wait another day. I don't look at him as I pull my phone from the counter and start dialing. But I can feel his gaze, heavy and silent. When I finally glance up, his expression is unreadable, too blank, too calm, but his knuckles have gone white around the stainless steel travel mug. Fine, he says tightly, setting the mug down harder than necessary. Coffee sloshes over the rim and beads across the countertop. I'm going for my run. The front door closes behind him with that same calculated care I've come to recognize lately. I watch him from the kitchen window as he jogs down Elm Street, past Mrs. Durant's maple trees and the faded neighborhood watch sign. This new routine started right after my mom passed. Right after the inheritance cleared. Lily's small hand slips into mine, grounding me. I glance down. Her shoulders have finally relaxed. She isn't twisting her shirt anymore. There's something in her calm that makes my chest ache. What do children see that grown-ups miss? And would I have truly listened if she hadn't said it out loud? By nightfall, I'd understand how close I came to never coming home again. Afternoon sun filters through the sycamores as Lily races barefoot across the yard. The sprinkler tosses glittering arcs of water, and her laughter sails across the breeze like music. For a moment, it feels like summer should sticky, sweet, and safe. Higher, Mommy, she calls out, soaked shirt clinging to her back. I crouch down, adjusting the sprinkler head. Water sprays higher, catching sunlight like tiny prisms. My fingers brush damp grass clippings stuck to the metal. Normal. Simple. Safe. Watch me. Lily shouts, leaping through the spray, then stopping short. Her nose wrinkles. The car doesn't smell funny today. My hand stills. What do you mean funny? She shrugs. Like Daddy's gym bag. It always makes me sleepy on the way to school. The sprinkler hisses softly, but all I can hear is the blood roaring in my ears. When did you first notice that smell, sweetheart? After Grandma died, she says, kicking a dandelion puff. That's when Daddy started cleaning the car every morning. My stomach flips. Lily, why don't you go inside and put on your favorite show? I just want to check something. She nods and trots toward the house, wet footprints fading behind her. Lily nods and darts inside, her wet footprints marking a trail across the slate garden path. I wait by the porch until the familiar jingle of her cartoon theme song drifts through the screen door. Only then do I move, my sandals barely making a sound on the gravel as I approach the car. The driver's door opens with a soft click, smooth and silent, like always. Everything inside looks perfect. The leather seats shine, the console spotless from Jason's near-daily cleanings. My travel mug still rests in its holder, coral lipstick on the rim from this morning's rushed sips. In the trunk, the emergency kit Jason insisted we get last month lies undisturbed. I almost close the door and walk away. I'm being ridiculous. Lily's words. The lingering unease. Jason's new morning, jogging routine. I shake my head. Maybe this is grief making me see shadows, grief and exhaustion. Mom's death hit me harder than I want to admit. You're working too hard, Jason's voice echoes in my head. He always says that after the near misses. After the days my hands feel slow, my mind foggy like I'm swimming through molasses behind the wheel. Mommy. I jump. Lily stands in the garage doorway, arms wrapped around herself, cartoon forgotten. Her eyes are serious. You're looking in the wrong spot. My throat tightens. Where should I look, sweetheart? She points at the dashboard, then walks up to the car and taps a vent with her small finger. The sleepy smell comes from there. The little holes. I reach into my purse, grab a tissue, and gently wipe inside the nearest vent. The white comes away with a faint oily shimmer. My nose twitches. A subtle scent hits me, minty and medicinal. Familiar. Jason's muscle rub. The one he uses after his morning runs. My hand starts to tremble as I fumble for my phone and call Joanne. 20 years of friendship means she answers immediately. Claire? Aren't you supposed to be in court? I need your opinion. Your professional opinion. I hate how shaky my voice sounds. Speaking it aloud makes it all real. If someone wanted to make a person drowsy, too drowsy to drive safely, what would they use? A beat of silence. Then Joanne's tone shifts, crisp and focused, her pharmacist's voice. Send me a photo of the residue. Right now. And Claire? Don't touch anything else with bare hands. Use gloves. By the time Lily's tucked into bed for her afternoon nap, I've taken a dozen photos. The vent residue. The tiny scratches along the dashboard seams. The small spray bottle hidden behind the manual in my glove box. The one I never bought. Then Lily's voice cuts through the silence. She's in the hallway, rubbing sleep from her eyes in her butterfly pajamas. That's the spray Daddy uses to make the car clean. I can barely breathe. You've seen him use it? She nods. Every morning after he runs. He says it keeps the car fresh. But it makes my nose tickle. My mind flashes to the garage camera Jason replaced last month. He said the old one was broken. Said it wasn't recording anymore. I log into the desktop upstairs, my fingers flying over the keyboard. The screen fills with garage footage. Time-stamped. Date-stamped. Jason. Every morning this week. 6:47 a.m. Always with the bottle. Always on the mornings I felt most tired behind the wheel. I go to his home office. The bottom drawer has always been locked. But today the key sits on his desk, disguised as a heavy metal paperweight. I unlock the drawer. Inside, a manila folder filled with perfectly stacked documents. And my name. Right on the top page. My name jumps off the page. Claire Harper. Life insurance policy. $950,000. Issued exactly 3 weeks after Mom's estate cleared probate. Primary beneficiary, Jason Harper. The paper trembles in my hands as I try to steady my breath. My eyes skim the fine print, but my mind is already racing, retracing the familiar drive to the courthouse, past the old sycamore grove, around the reservoir, then up to Summit Ridge Road, where my Subaru scraped the guardrail last week. That guardrail still bears silver paint from my fender. And just beyond it? A drop steep enough to erase questions. A curve sharp enough that no one would doubt a tired driver simply didn't make it. I pressed my fist to my lips to keep the scream inside. The man I built my life with, the man who tucked our daughter into bed, has been plotting to end mine, one accidental drive at a time. The sound of Jason's car pulling into the driveway jolts me from my frozen state. I have seconds, maybe less, to return everything exactly where I found it. I shut the drawer, straighten the folder, replace the key paperweight. Smile. Breathe. Pretend I don't know the man I married wants me dead. And then Lily appears in the doorway. She doesn't speak right away. Just stands there, her butterfly pajama pants twisted at the ankle, her solemn blue eyes locked on mine. I told you, Mommy, she whispers. Daddy did something bad. My hands shake as I grab my phone and begin snapping pictures. The spray bottle. The dashboard residue. The insurance policy. Click. 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 The sun slants through the kitchen windows, making the droplets on the spray nozzle shimmer like glass. Each photo is another thread pulled loose in the fabric of our marriage. I text Joanne, red roses wilting. Our college code. Back then it was meant to signal heartbreaks over cheating or booze. Not attempted murder. Her reply comes instantly. On our way. 15 minutes later, Robert's black SUV pulls into the gravel driveway. I watch from the window as Joanne climbs out, oversized purse slung over her shoulder, the same one she uses to sneak medication samples home from her pharmacy job. Seeing her stride toward the house unlocks something deep in my chest. Where's Lily? She asks, her arms wrapping around me, her lavender perfume both overwhelming and comforting. Upstairs. Watching her show. I lead them to the kitchen, where I've laid out everything like an evidence board. The tissue stained with oily residue, the spray bottle, the folded insurance policy with Jason's name printed in bold. I had to distract her, I say. Robert nods, already slipping on latex gloves with practiced ease. Walk us through it. I recounted all: Jason's runs, the scent in the vents, Lily's warning as he lifts the bottle and waves a small UV light across the surface. The smell grows stronger. Mint and chemical tang, sharp enough to make my stomach turn. This isn't a cleaner, Robert says evenly. The viscosity's wrong. See how it clings to the plastic? He swabs some residue onto a test strip. We wait. The paper turns purple. Joanne's hand clamps around mine. Claire, that's a benzodiazepine marker. That's a sedative. The kitchen spins. He's been drugging me. And at that moment, I know I have to talk to Lily. The thought rises through the nausea, sharp and clear. Lily is the reason we caught this in time. She deserves to know she was right. That her voice, small but unwavering, saved my life. I find her cross-legged on her yellow bedspread, carefully coloring in a princess crown with the glitter markers Jason gave her last week. The image breaks my heart. How many gifts have been hush money in disguise? Hey, sweetheart, I say softly as I sit beside her. She immediately sets the markers aside and looks up. Full attention. 8 years old and already she can read a room better than most adults. When did that happen? I need to ask you something important, okay? She nods, serious now. Have you ever seen Daddy put anything else in Mommy's car? Lily fidgets with the hem of her pajama top, then whispers, sometimes Grandma Collins helps him. My stomach drops. Jason's mother. The woman who called me trouble during our engagement. Who never forgave me for choosing Kansas City over Connecticut. Who told Jason more than once that marriage was a business arrangement. The same woman who suggested, over lunch 2 months ago, that Jason should be the sole beneficiary of my life insurance policy. It's just smarter, she'd said. For your daughter's future. I keep my voice even. She helps him how? She holds the bottle. While he sprays the car. My lungs forget how to breathe. I pull Lily close, burying my nose in her strawberry-scented hair. You've been so brave, baby. You told me what I needed to hear. You protected me. She hugs me fiercely, whispering, I didn't want you to end up like Grandma. The words slice straight through me. Hey, I say gently, pulling back just enough to meet her eyes. How would you feel about a special sleepover at Aunt Joanne's house tonight? Katie's been asking for a play date. Lily studies me. Will you be okay? I nod. Because of you. Because you told me the truth. Downstairs, Robert finishes logging the evidence. He's taking the sample to a colleague at the hospital lab. 2 hours for a preliminary, he says. Full confirmation by midnight. I pace the house while we wait, suddenly aware of every detail. The antique mirror my mother and I picked out together. The gallery wall of family pictures where Jason's smile always seemed too practiced. In his coat pocket, I find a crumpled pharmacy receipt, dated 3 weeks ago. The same week the insurance policy was signed. Just past midnight, my inbox pings. The email is encrypted, the subject line cold and clinical. Confirmed. Presence of benzodiazepine-based compounds. Sedatives. Slowing reaction time. Suppressing alertness. The perfect setup for a fatal accident on Summit Ridge Road. Joanne's voice is sharp. Claire, we need to call the police. But I shake my head. Not yet. If we move too soon, he'll cover his tracks. We need evidence in the act. My hands don't shake as I dial Detective Sarah Wilson's number. She handled my mother's estate last fall. I always suspected she had doubts about how that case closed. Don't confront him, she says firmly. We'll have a team nearby tomorrow morning. Just get him on tape. I crawl into bed an hour later, next to the man who calculated the dosage that would have killed me. Jason's breathing is calm. Steady. He has no idea. And in that silence I finally feel ready. My phone buzzes softly on the nightstand. A message from Joanne. Lily sound asleep. Katie's thrilled to have her sister friend over. In the darkness, a strange calm settles over me. I've spent 8 years shaping this life, curating the perfect home, showing up as the good wife, smiling through storms. Tonight, I'll spend one last night inside this carefully staged dream, gathering the evidence to destroy it. I think of Lily's warning, her small voice, her fingers knotting the hem of her pajama top. She saw what I couldn't. While I was holding on to illusions, she was holding on to truth. Tomorrow, I'll show her that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is stop pretending and start surviving. Jason stirs beside me in his sleep, his hand brushing against my arm. I don't flinch. I've learned how to pretend. From him. Morning comes with pale sunlight streaking the kitchen tiles. My hands tremble as I stir 3 spoonfuls of sugar into my coffee. I didn't sleep, but I let the yawn escape my lips anyway, slow and practiced. Jason watches me from across the island. His travel mug is already full, black coffee, no sugar. Always the same. The morning sun glints off the titanium band on his finger, the one I once believed meant forever. He studies me a moment too long. Take the scenic route, he says casually. Summit Ridge has that crisp morning air you love. The words strike like a blow. How many times had he said that exact thing? How many times had I taken the bait? I sip my coffee, steadying my expression. Maybe? Lily still at Joanne's? He asks. Yeah. I stretch and fake a smile. They had a movie marathon. Joanne said she'd feed them breakfast too. I don't mention the tissue sample from my car vent sitting on Joanne's kitchen counter, or the way Robert sealed it into a bio bag. Through the front window, I spot a car partially hidden behind Mrs. Peterson's hydrangeas, Detective Wilson's unmarked vehicle. My pulse flutters. I move slower, rinsing my mug with exaggerated care. I need to look tired. Groggy. Just like every other morning, he tried to make sure I wouldn't come home. Jason checks his watch again. 3rd time. His jaw tightens slightly. Running late. I ask, voice light. He shrugs. Just tired, I say with a soft yawn. I'll grab my notes upstairs before I head out. I need something from the garage first, he blurts out suddenly, setting his mug down too quickly. Coffee spills over the rim, pooling on the granite. He doesn't wipe it up. He's already halfway to the door. I grip the edge of the sink as I watch from the corner of the window. Inside, Lily's old teddy bear, perched on the garage shelf, the tiny nanny cam I installed last night blinks red. My phone vibrates. The live feed pops up. Jason moves with practiced precision like he's done it 100 times. He pulls a familiar spray bottle from his jacket pocket. The early light catches his face as he leans into my car. One vent at a time, he sprays them all. And this time, we're watching. I press my palm to my mouth, stifling the sound rising in my throat. The man spraying the vents, so calm, so methodical, once kissed my forehead every morning. He read bedtime stories to Lily. He rubbed my shoulders after long museum meetings. And now I watched him, with the same mechanical precision he used to color-code our spice drawer, prepare my death. Mr. Harper. Detective Wilson's voice cuts through the garage, sharp and certain. Jason startles. The spray bottle slips from his hand and clatters onto the concrete, rolling under the back tire. It's just an air freshener, he blurts, the words too loud, too quick. His head snaps toward the kitchen window, locking eyes with mine. For a moment, I see the man I married, the man who danced barefoot with me under backyard string lights, who cried when Lily was born. And then, just as fast, that version of him dissolves. What remains is a stranger. Cold. Calculating. The lab results came in this morning, Mr. Harper, Wilson says as she steps forward, another officer flanking her. The substance we found in your wife's car vents matches the sedative found in her system. Jason's face drains. This is a misunderstanding, he says quickly. You have the right to remain silent, the officer begins as he produces the cuffs. Jason's voice cracks. Claire. Tell them. Tell them this isn't what it looks like. I don't move. Don't speak. My fingers rust against the window pane, leaving faint smudges. I'll probably clean them later. Out of habit. Because habit dies slower than hope. Jason's phone buzzes as it hits the garage floor, screen lighting up, vibrating against the concrete. But the moment is already shifting. A silver Lexus screeches into the driveway. Eleanor. Jason's mother steps out, her posture tight, her hair meticulously curled. She clutches a manila envelope, her heels clicking across the pavement as she takes in the flashing police lights. What have you done to my son? She demands, her voice trembling with fury. She waves the envelope like a weapon. I catch a glimpse of neatly stacked withdrawal slips, bank records peeking out. Detective Wilson doesn't flinch. She nods toward her partner. Mrs. Harper, we have evidence of your involvement in the attempt on Claire's life. Those records in your hand wouldn't happen to show cash purchases for prescription sedatives, would they? Eleanor freezes. For the first time since I met her, she says nothing. Her fingers loosen. The envelope slips free, spilling paperwork like autumn leaves across the driveway. Two officers move in. As they lead her to the second patrol car, I catch a glimpse of my reflection in the kitchen window. The morning sun glints off my mother's pearl earrings, the same ones Jason once said made me look like a proper Harper wife. Behind me, Lily's old teddy bear sits on its shelf. The nanny cam inside captured everything. Every lie. Every truth I needed to see. When the last police car pulls away, lights still flashing, I finally sit. The coffee stain Jason left seeps slowly across the granite, sinking into the cracks of the stone. Just like the truth, permanent, undeniable, and impossible to scrub clean. No amount of scrubbing could erase what he did, or what I almost ignored. How do you rebuild a life that was designed to end before it had the chance to begin again? For Lily's sake, I'd have to find an answer. But not today. Today, I simply sit. Watching the morning sun rise over a neighborhood that looks just like it did yesterday, though everything in it has changed. That same afternoon, at the police station, the sharp scrape of a metal chair echoes off linoleum floors as Detective Wilson slides a tablet across the interrogation table. The video begins immediately. Jason sits slumped, his white shirt wrinkled from hours of questioning, collar slightly askew. His fingers tap against the table, 3 times, pause, 3 times, just like he used to do when flipping through the Sunday paper. Calm. Rhythmic. Hollow. Tell me about the plan, Wilson says. She doesn't ask. She commands. Jason's voice breaks. Mom, it was her idea. After the inheritance cleared. He swallows hard, eyes glued to the table. She said Claire would be better off. Said Lily deserved a future without all the tension, all the stress. On screen, he looks like a stranger in my husband's clothes. The sedative in the air vents? Wilson prompts. Jason nods barely. It was supposed to look like fatigue. Like she just missed the curve. Summit Ridge, Wilson clarifies. She always took that way, he murmurs. Except when she didn't. Sometimes she'd stop for coffee. Or call Joanne. Even when she was ruining the plan, she didn't know she was saving herself. The screen blurs as tears sting my eyes, but I blink them back. I will not cry for him. Not now. Not ever. The courtroom is colder than I expected for a sunny May morning. My mother's pearl earrings sit heavy against my ears as I take the witness stand. I avoid the defense table entirely. Jason sits there beside his mother, Eleanor, both carefully groomed, both carefully silent. Mrs. Harper, my attorney begins gently. Please tell the court about the morning your daughter warned you. I inhale slowly. The memory is crystalline. Lily's small fingers twisting the hem of her pajamas. Her eyes flicking to the window. Her whispered plea, please don't drive today. And Jason, standing in the doorway with a mug of coffee, watching. Something in her voice made me pause, I tell the judge. That pause saved my life. From the defense table, Eleanor's voice slices through the room. She changed him. He was perfect before she came along. Mrs. Harper, Judge Martinez says sharply. Enough. The courtroom falls into stillness. Then Lily enters. She walks with quiet confidence to the judge's bench, her yellow dress swinging gently around her knees. She traces patterns on the polished wood as she speaks. I saw Daddy spray the car. A lot. She looks up. It made me sleepy on the way to school. Her tiny finger draws a cricket heart on the desk. I made a picture about it. Want to see? Lily asks. The courtroom holds its breath. The drawing appears on the evidence screen, two stick figures standing beside a car. One taller holding a spray bottle. Bright yellow crayon rays shine overhead, and scrawled in a child's careful hand are the words, Daddy making Mommy's car smell strange. A tissue box is placed gently beside Lily's small hand. She doesn't reach for it. She just watches her picture, calm and quiet, as the truth ripples through the courtroom. Through the town. Like a stone dropped in still water, the story spreads. Shopping for groceries becomes a quiet war of stares and whispers. I feel them. The turned shoulders in the produce section. The hush that follows me down the cereal aisle. The questions they ask when they think I can't hear. Did she know? There must have been signs. A few neighbors bring casseroles and hesitant hugs. Others cross the street. The silence between us louder than any question they could have asked. The Kansas City Star runs the story on page 1. Local museum curator targeted and murder for money plot. 7 years of marriage reduced to headlines, speculation, and commentary on the size of my inheritance. I cancel my subscription before the ink is even dry. The verdict comes on a gray Thursday. The courtroom is so quiet it feels like even the walls are listening. 15 years for Jason. 8 for Eleanor. The sentences drop like hammers. Final. Cold. Just. Claire. Jason's voice breaks as the bailiff leads him past. Please. Look at me. I don't. Instead, I tighten my grip around Lily's hand and focus on the sunlight streaming through the courthouse windows. On the path in front of us. The one that no longer ends on Summit Ridge Road. Outside on the wide stone steps, Lily tugs at my hand. Can we get ice cream? I don't hesitate. Yes. That single word feels like a release. At the ice cream parlor, she licks her chocolate cone. Vanilla already dripping down her wrist. The late afternoon sun turns her hair into strands of gold. Did I do good, Mommy? Telling the truth. The question nearly breaks me. How do you tell your child that her father valued money more than her mother's life? You did more than good, I whisper. I smooth her hair back, soaking in the calm in her face. You did what was right. That's the bravest thing anyone can do. She nods, satisfied, and returns to her cone. And I think of all the mornings we could have lost. The laughter. The scraped knees. The bedtime stories. All of it could have ended on that curved road if not for her courage. I love you, baby. Love you too. She grins, chocolate smeared across her chin. Can we get sprinkles next time? I laugh. It surprises me, the sound of it, free and alive. Next time we'll get extra sprinkles. Some truths have no soft edges. But maybe that's okay. Maybe the best we can do is hold tight to the ones who save us, order the sprinkles, and walk into whatever comes next. Together. The moving truck rumbles away, leaving Lily and me standing in the driveway of our new rental house. It's nothing like the old place. Half the size, with faded white clapboard siding and creaky porch steps that groan in protest with every shift of weight. But when Lily tugs on my hand and points toward the little square of dirt beside the stairs, her eyes light up for the first time in weeks. Can we plant flowers, Mommy? Real ones. Of course, sweetheart. I say, squeezing her hand. I think of the silk arrangements Jason always insisted on, clean, color-coordinated, sterile. No mess, no scent, no life. What colors should we choose? I ask. Lily's already bouncing on her toes. Yellow. And purple. And red and pink. All the colors. That first afternoon we only unpack what brings joy. Her stuffed unicorns find a new home on the wide windowsill of her room. Sunlight bouncing off their stitched smiles. My mother's old recipe box earns a spot beside the mixer I treated myself to as a housewarming gift. We discover an old cookie sheet left behind by the last tenant, and we break it in by baking a batch of chocolate chip cookies. The scent of vanilla and brown butter fills the small house, washing away the stale air and old ghosts. Your room next? I ask, and Lily nods, clutching the paint swatches we picked up at the hardware store. She'd chosen the brightest yellow on the rack, summer sun. As I roll the first stripe across her wall, She perches on her bare mattress, legs swinging. Dr. Brooks says it's okay to be happy and sad at the same time, she says. I liked my old room, but I love this one more. I pause mid-stroke, blinking back sudden tears. Dr. Samuel Brooks, her therapist, has helped her find words I'm still searching for myself. He's right, I say. And you know what? I feel the same way. Later that week, I sit in a folding chair in a church basement that smells like coffee and worn-out hope. A support group for survivors of domestic betrayal. The other women nod as I speak, their faces etched with empathy, their silence more comforting than words. The hardest part wasn't finding out what Jason planned, I say. It was realizing how much I'd dismissed my own instincts, how many times I blamed myself for being tired, never thinking it might be the coffee he handed me every morning. A silver-haired woman named Ruth reaches over and gently takes my hand. But you listened when it mattered most, she says. You heard your daughter's voice. That night I write in my journal as Lily sleeps, her yellow room glowing softly in the hall light. Day 15 in our new home. No nightmares. She laughed today. Not polite laughter, real wild, full-bellied laughter. And just for a moment, it felt like the beginning of something whole. The idea for Second Bloom comes to me one quiet Saturday morning during our weekly pancake ritual. Lily sits at the kitchen table, arranging blueberries into smiley faces on her stack, completely focused, humming softly. I sip my coffee and flip through the local paper. A small article tucked inside the community section catches my eye. Budget cuts to public school arts programs. Entire departments gone. No after-school creativity. No color. Something clicks. A seed of purpose plants itself where grief and betrayal once sat. I can't change the past, but I can help someone else find their future. I use part of the inheritance, money Jason never touched, to create Second Bloom, a nonprofit for young women who feel overlooked, silenced, or stuck. The community center gives us a spare room on weekends. Within a month, I'm teaching intro to art history and sketching techniques to girls who remind me of my younger self. Hungry for beauty, desperate to be seen. I think my mom helps people start over. I overhear Lily say to her new friend Sarah during a playdate. The pride in her voice warms something deep in me I hadn't realized was still healing. One evening, Dr. Brooks, Sam as he's asked me to call him, stops by to drop off a donation of gently used art supplies from his sister's gallery. He stays for dinner. Somewhere between passing the salad bowl and trading favorite museum stories, I laugh. Not the careful, polite laugh I used to offer at dinner parties. This one comes from somewhere deeper. It bubbles out of me, unguarded and whole. Lily notices. That night, as I tuck her in beneath her butterfly comforter, she shows me her latest drawing. 3 stick figures standing in front of a yellow house with flower beds bursting in all directions. Who's this? I ask, pointing to the tallest figure with kind eyes and an easy smile. That's Dr. Sam, she says matter-of-factly. He makes you laugh like before Daddy got mean inside. Her words hold no bitterness, only truth. Seasons shift. Our garden blooms, fades, and blooms again. One crisp autumn morning, Lily and I drive along the winding highway to school. The same road Jason once chose as the perfect place for a fatal accident. She's singing along to a pop song about butterflies and new beginnings. As we pass the sharp curve, the guardrail now clean and sturdy, I murmur. This is where our new life began. She stops singing, reaches over the console and slips her small hand into mine. I'm glad I told you, Mommy, she says. I'm glad you believed me. That evening I sit on the porch swing, watching her chase fireflies across our yard. The sky is streaked with pink and gold. Soft. Free. A letter sits in my lap. Final confirmation. The old Victorian has sold. A clean break from the life that tried to end mine. Lily runs up the steps, hands cupped around a glowing firefly. Look, Mommy. It's making its own light. I smile as she opens her hands and releases it into the gathering dusk. Sometimes the smallest lights guide us home. Sometimes the quietest voices save us. And sometimes starting over leads us right back to the person we were always meant to be. We sit together watching the firefly's light blink into the twilight, its glow joining the first stars overhead. If you've made it this far, thank you. For listening, for holding space, and for letting my story sit with you. There were days I didn't think I'd survive the truth. Days when smiling through coffee and PDA meetings felt easier than trusting the voice in my gut. But I did survive. And not just because of the evidence or the intervention, though those mattered. I survived because I finally chose to listen to the smallest, clearest voice in my life. My daughters. I want to ask you something now, from one human to another. Have you ever ignored your instincts because it felt safer not to know the truth? Leave a comment below, talk to me. Tell me what part of this story stayed with you. Or talk to Lily. What would you say to an 8-year-old girl who saved her mother's life with nothing but honesty and heart? If you've ever doubted your gut or stayed silent when something felt wrong, I want you to know you're not alone. And if you've ever made the brave choice to speak up or walk away, no matter how messy it got, I see you. We all do. Please share a piece of advice you'd give someone struggling with hidden betrayal. What helped you trust yourself again? And if this story touched you, if you believe in strength after silence and starting over in second blooms, click the like button, share this video and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps these stories reach others who might need to hear them. From the bottom of my healing heart, thank you for believing me, for believing in the power of truth, and for reminding me I was never alone.